Impromptu, unplanned, call it what you want. Here we are. Made my way out to a Tampa Comic Con, first comic show I've been to, convention that I've been to on this scale since 2019. And first time I've been to the Tampa show, I think since 17 or 18. I can't remember which year was the last one there. So I thought I'd give you guys my thoughts, talk it through, ask you guys if you guys are out there, you want to talk about some convention experiences that you're having, that you're seeing, those kinds of things, what's changed, in the lay of the land. So, but I had a great time. My older son, wanted to go. He's really gotten into not only Legos for himself, Legos for his kids, and also like buying and selling like actual Lego kits. Right, turn a profit, make a little bit of scratch, and use the scratch to buy stuff you want. So it's not a bad plan. I've done it many years for comic books myself, and as well as other things. So yeah, I'll go with you. I'll go hang out with you, and that's really kind of how I went into this. Very low expectations. Only Sunday because I figured I can parlay that into this week. So I will be available later tonight for a little bit. Also tomorrow night a little bit. Hoping that I got the feelers out for someone to do a record with me tomorrow evening. So hopefully that will work out. I will check that actually as we're talking. So all right, I'm locking that in as we speak. So if you know who you are, we are just doing well. Um, so yeah, well, hopefully locked somebody in here just a minute ago for an incredible opportunity to have somebody on who's not been on for like a What's Your Story or even a comic talk or cartoon talk. So hopefully that'll happen. 'Cause I'm not usually in town this early in the week, so it's kind of cool to do that. So that's what I did. Figured Sunday's a little slower, right? Not as busy as Saturday. I know both strikes are going on, so I know there's guests that were going to be there that are not there, so or they're there and definitely less than was originally planned. But there was quite a lot of celebrities there relative to what I expected. I was trying to think of some other first generalizations. The drive over there was fine. The drive there and find a place to park was an absolute nightmare. Everything right now in this is not really downtown. This is more like Channel Side and where the convention, the aquarium, all that area right there. There's so much, and I say construction, not meaning those buildings. It's construction and the infrastructure around all of the parking lots. So there are garages, but there's also all of these lots, and these lots you pull in, you pay $10, $15, whatever it is. The closer you are, the more you pay usually. We did like laps. We're going around. It was a complete absolute disaster to try to find a place to park and what to do. It was absolutely horrible. And man, my pet peeve button went off right away because I cannot stand this social engineering nonsense, right? So you're walking down this path for where the sidewalk is, and then suddenly there are these guardrails up. You have to go around the guardrails and come around to cross the road to go back where you want to go. You're not allowed to walk straight across, evidently. There's no reason. Maybe there's a reason if there was a hockey game or some other big event actually happening, but we don't move inconveniences just because we don't want to spend the man hours, if you will, to make things convenient for the next person. We only worry about their thing. So we're stuck snaking it around at times because of all of this nonsense. I hate it so much. And it only got worse once we got to the convention. Oh my gosh, making my head hurt. So all of this time wasted delaying my walk, right? We get there, and then there's like, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. If you have this, you go this way. If you have that, you go this way. Instead of using the terms right and left, first or second. If you need your barcode scanned, then use the first elevator, escalator. Go to the right. No. It's just this way. If you can't see the 5'3" woman screaming out commands, how do you know what she's actually saying? And in the process, you're having to snake through empty areas because they don't take barricades down, even though it's Sunday. I'm sure you needed those on day one. I'm sure you needed those on Saturday morning. But what you didn't need, you did not need those at Sunday. And it was ridiculous. It was just insane how stupid it was. And then it's such it is all compartmentalized. Oh, you people go here, you people that go there. And it's like um, a whole bunch of people sitting around because there's no rush anymore, right? Everyone that's in. We're past the first rush. We got there right after the 10:30 sort of start time kind of thing. So everyone else had kind of already flooded in, which was great. That was kind of by design. But then you have all these people just sitting there. They're on their phones. And it's like, bloop bloop. Here's your wristband. It's like, what? Why do you not just have those people at the doors? They bloop you in. And then if somebody needs to leave, you ask them, do you need a hand stamp to get back in? And you go, boop, boop, hand stamp. And you don't buy wristbands and whatever. You just get hand stamps to get back in or whatever. What? You're worried that what? Somebody will let their friend in? You got one or two people that might snake their way in? Like, really? That's what you're... I mean, it's so much hoopla of where we've gotten now. There's so much drama and wasted time and energy and resources. I don't know who's paid staff and who's not, who may be a volunteer. I don't know, but I can just... it was such a waste. I mean, I'm talking like... so we had already paid. So our scanning area section, I'm talking 8 people probably. And the people that are paying cash or buying tickets in that moment, that's probably another 8 people. So you got 15 people, and you might have needed half of that if they were all manned at doors. I mean, maybe there's a one way in, one way out option. That could have been an option. It just seems that we're so much further along with how these things operate to still have such a cluster of wasted time and resources for everyone involved. So, well, that's my thought. That gets us in the door. Now, we get in, and I got to be honest. First thing I want to say is, the place was very, very crowded. A lot of money changing hands for such a bad economy. But air conditioning was fine. Things were reasonably spaced. I never felt like it was really too cramped or anything like that. And shame on convention center. So the convention center, it is very confusing because you have like the section where celebrities are, where you have like ABC type stuff. Then you have these, 100, 200, 300s. But you can end up in this cross street and you don't know what's the other cross. Like, you only know you're in like the 500s, but you don't know which one you're in. So I had to have a vendor point out the number so I knew kind of a way to gauge the person that I was talking to, try to meet us. So some of the directions stuff are a little screwy and a little hard to know. And I will say this to you: if anyone's going to one of these things and you're going to have a table or you're going to have a setup, if you have not put out on your socials or you're not put out there like what booth number you'll be in or how to find you, that's on you, because you really need to do that. You need to say, oh, I'm at the corner, blah, blah, blah. This is our number or something. You need to have an address. It needs to be easier for you people to find us, because otherwise you're just like snaking up and down trying to... I am sure I walk past people that I would have wanted to see or meet. I'm sure there's things that I probably missed because there is chaos involved, right? So if you're literally focused on trying to navigate around the people around you and you're moving in a general direction, it would be easy to miss someone on right or left, especially if they're outside of their normal area. That was, we walked by certain groups and they were not in their area. They were obviously doing something else. Maybe went to the bathroom, whatever. Oh, geez. Okay. So, but all in all, I think it all was fine. We had a good time with that. The flow was fine. It wasn't overly crowded. I wasn't there to like shop. I wasn't really there searching for a particular item or anything like that. It was more to like, let me gauge the market and see if there's anything that struck my fancy. That's what my wife likes to say. Anything that strikes your fancy. And just to hang out with my son and have a good time. Talk Legos, talk about family, talk about different stuff going on. That's what we did pretty much, right? And we kind of walked through like the whole place. And my first impression was I would say all, so I shouldn't say all. A bulk of the comic book stuff was when we first walked in, and it was all kind of there. And I was like so blown away. I'm like, holy cow, it's this comic book stuff. Look at all these comics, right? There was dollar comics right here. Guy had graphic novels over here. There was kind of a high-end guy, had a wall of graded stuff, which was more like really old stuff, vintage and high expensive stuff. It would be like, an early X-Men at like at a 2, You know what I mean? It's not going to be like, I'm not talking about like $10,000 comics. I'm talking about comics that you can afford, but it's like they're hard to find, right? That kind of stuff, right? I was like, oh man, this is going to be a lot. And that's what I said going into this. That's what I said about San Diego with all the strikes and all that. I was like, oh man, a comic show about comics. Imagine that. There's a thought. So I went into this and I saw this right out of the gate. And I was actually kind of encouraged, like, holy cow, this is so cool. Let's see, let's see some comic show stuff just be about comics for a change. That would be kind of fun. I would kind of like to do that. That would be kind of cool. So we kind of navigated through some of that kind of stuff for a little while. Didn't really have anything that was like knocking my socks off. We're just kind of walking around. We're having a good enough time about the stuff going on. Yeah, I mean, it was fine. But quickly during our travel, we just noticed there's just no more comic books. My son was kind of like, "What's going on? What is all this stuff?" And it was just like, okay, well, we quickly drifted not into sort of like crowdfunding type people or anything like that. So anyway, hey, Smarter Poopas. Hey, what's going on, Brian? What's going on? Also good to see you, man. The humans and the critters. Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, no, it was like the comic books, that was kind of it. And I was like, what's happening? There was a lot of indie artists, indie creators, and I don't say indie creators meaning comic books. I meant indie creators like, this guy somehow sells, he draws pictures of Joker and whatever, and he has all this art. And this person makes beads, and this person does that. It's like it's all of this sort of like flea market-y type approach to cons. And this is all normal, but it was so much of it. And then hey AC, how you doing, buddy? Pops had fun. I had fun hanging out with my son. Yes, I did have fun hanging out with my son. So the big observation at that point was a lot of Funkos. I thought Funkos were over. A lot of Funkos were over. Like Indiana Jones? I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Pat ass. Give me some context. Couldn't make it. The rubber human suit wasn't ready. Oh, it's all right. I understand, brother. But listen, we got to get together sometime, man. If you can ever make it down or something like that, when you get together, let me know. But yeah, we walked quickly past pretty much out of the comic book area. He saw some Lego stuff. There was really only maybe a half a dozen so of those type vendors that had like sets like he was looking for or had licensed Lego stuff, which is kind of what he was looking for, right? There were two vendors that had custom Lego stuff, custom Lego figures at a very economical price. And that was where he bought stuff for his kids. He's like, oh man, I'll get he's got like, little kids. So like, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, that kind of, and that way they can play with those. And then I'll pull the minifigures out of their sets so they don't get ruined or lost, which is a smart strategy to go. So, like Indiana Jones, Funkos will never die. Yeah, it's brutal, man. I couldn't believe the scale of the amount of Funkos, Pat. Like there were Funkos like I mean, it was crazy. We were joking like how many there were. And I'm like, no one, I mean, I'm assuming people are buying, there wouldn't be so many people there doing them. But anyway, yeah. AC, yeah, Lego stuff. My son and you are definitely cut from the same cloth, man. Loving the same kind. Actually, I told him about you on the way there because I had listened to your game streaming early on when I was driving in, but talked about Bionicle and stuff like that. I didn't know if he'd seen our comic book talk. I didn't know if he even knew. So, yeah, you guys are cut from the same cloth. He's very much looking for certain Star Wars sets, things he can flip to pay for the stuff he wants. And then stuff for the kids, right? That kind of thing. So that was kind of how that went. So yeah, it went all right. I will say this, and this is going to be a weird complaint, and I don't know exactly how to frame this because it's going to sound like I'm judging the individuals. Maybe I shouldn't mention the artist by name. Should I mention the people that I met and it wasn't that they don't know me or didn't remember me. It's more like they were just like, they were busy. And we've got to a point now where the comic book artists in particular, they take these commissions, right? So commissions are where, you'll pay someone. It'll be like, well, I want an 8 by 12 of this. How much does it cost? I want, black and white, I need color, I need whatever. And these people are trying to get it done by the end of the con. So here comes Sunday. Here comes Pops. Hey, I'm so and so. Hey, good to see you. Well, and they're like, they have no time for you because they got stuff they got to do. Not everybody's like that, but I did notice that more than one time, and I thought that was kind of weird. So, um, Pat, I got to be honest. I didn't even see your message until later. No cool 80s action figures. I didn't. You're gonna have to give me a very specific list in my travels because there actually is a store, a toy store, Kala that I found. He may be pricey, but he may not be. You maybe know. So give me very specifics about certain ones you're looking for. So if I go, I know what I'm looking for. Otherwise, it's sensory overload, my friend. Because if you've seen these booths, there's just hundreds of things everywhere. It's like it's sensory overload. And that's one thing Jake and I were talking about as we were walking around. Was like I don't even know how to gauge things as good or bad because these places just have so much stuff. So, uh, yeah, angry. I'm really waking up to that more than I was before. Like even if I got something, I saw something recently, and it was a Harry Potter. I'll say that it was a big Harry Potter set. And it was like $70, and it wasn't turning really any major profit on Amazon or eBay. It would be a little bit of profit as a maybe. But then I thought about it in hindsight. I'm like, I probably should have pulled the trigger on one of them and just put it in the closet because in like a year from now or whenever they do something Harry Potter, that 70, it's retired, is easily going to be probably 100 or 150 or more or whatever. I easily could have. And I'm just trying to be, the downsizer right now, AC. I am. I'm trying to be wise. I'm trying to be strategic. Maybe I don't know. What's the word? You guys help me out. So, but yeah, Pat, give me more specifics. I'll let you go. Yeah, all's good. Right? No, I get you, man. Just very specific though. I need. There was some guy, Pat. Oh my, we were so confused. So it was Star Wars booth mostly, graded Star Wars figures, which I had already explained to my son what graded Star Wars figures look like. He spotted them, pointed them out. I went running over, going to check them out. And I'm like, these are all 2019 figures. These are all like uber modern. I'm like, this is crap to me. I don't want this. Of course, these are going to grade high. So you see a grade of like 90 on an action figure box. And I'm like, holy cow, a 90, thinking it was vintage. Oh, it's not vintage. It's just the fact that they've reprinted all this crap and they made all this ultra modern stuff. It's the same problem it's going to be with the comic books. It's going to end up with this big saturated mess. People are going to get confused. They're not going to know how to get in, things like that. I was so frustrated, Pat. They were all like, I call it ultra modern. That's kind of my new terminology for this stuff in the last few years. So, who was there? Hawk and Merch. Okay, I'll be good and not mention the name. Okay, cool. Listen, I have no problem with whatever your strategy is, especially if you want to buy and sell or what. Listen, I've said it all along. I have a foot in all three arenas. I am a comic book collector, a reader, and an investor. I would buy and sell things, use the money I'd make to buy the things I wanted. So my out of pocket was like essentially zero. And that's still to this day a lot of what I'm doing. So yeah. Oh no, he was definitely giving me the what's for because he saw something that he thought was a good deal. Then he looked at it a little closer. He's like, not really. It's not worth my time. I was like, oh, I thought that was like going for about 32. He's like, no, it goes for about 45. So he was like, he knew exactly what he was doing. He is plugged right into like the Amazon app and what's hot on eBay. And he kind of can tell you, kind of where certain things are. Like I have one box that is like it's $30, right? But it's not even a hot seller right now. So if I try to sell it, it's something I would just be sitting on. It's not actually going to be something anybody is sought after. It's just kind of like a miscellaneous set of something I just got. Long story. We'll talk about it another time. So early Star Wars Legos are 5 times what we paid for. I know, Pat. Gonna pay the mortgage for some of your stuff, man. Yeah, those are insane. Yeah. The OG Slave 1 set, really the big one, $500 used. Holy cow. Yeah. Yeah. My son is great. I actually be honest, AC, and I'm sorry to plug my son. He'll never watch this video, but if you were to see this video, I'd let him know I am so proud of him because he has matured to a point now where it's not about. I told my wife, I said he spent money on his kids. It was so sweet. It was thoughtful. It wasn't like let me get something from the Dollar Tree. No, it was like my son would like this one. Do you have this thing? That kind of thing. And then it was about being like strategy. Like if you want to be in collecting or whatever, that's fine. But I've always said, you don't need to throw your money away. There's no reason to set your money on fire. You can be smart. And my son really, really has gotten smart and clever. Very proud of him in that regard. Gab, brother, how have you been? Hope you're doing all right, man. Hopefully you're doing well. Keep in touch, man. It's awesome to see you, man. Mego re-release are hard to tell from the 60, 70. Oh yeah, I wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. Well, I would based on where. Yeah, see, I can't even get into some of that kind of stuff, Pat, because of these re-releases make it too complicated. I heard that with the real Ghostbusters as well. I think Matt Comedy told me that. Yeah, I don't even know. I won't know how to tell the molds apart. Now, the thing is with the OG vintage Star Wars, I know what I'm looking for. The kind of like this doesn't look quite right. Let me check, and I can tell. You know what I mean? And with graded ones, they're labeled. So, I mean, I would run the risk of somebody who's fraudulently put a new label in there, but odds are you're going to tell because of the way the seals are broken. But, yeah, yeah, crazy. Cat had surgery, had to take care of her recovery. Took over weeks. Yeah, I'm okay. I had a great day hanging out with my son, going to convention for the first time. Still blown away of the amount of Funkos, and I'm assuming people are buying those things. I do not understand it. I did it. I mean, I have I literally have like a dozen or so, and I'm already like, what can I do to find these homes? And I'm not sure I want to get rid of them in the sense of I have two Trons, I have two Bob Ross, I have a couple of gift ones, and then the rest of them, I'm like, I don't really care what happens to them. Like whatever. They're like stickered. They're more like the rarer ones, but it's still like I don't. This is a thing still. I thought this was over. They were everywhere, massive. Let me think. What are some other takeaways? Not many comic artists. More indie comic artists than comic book artists. It wasn't like there was any Marvel DC people there on scale. Was there a couple? Sure, but not like you would expect at a convention, right? But like I said, no comic books. Comic books are literally in this front section when I first walk in. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so hopeful. I was so naive. I was so duped, thinking that this was going to be the convention, and it was not. There was hardly not much to pick from. And I want to say very expensive. Sure, there's a dollar bin. Sure, there are AC, I was so frustrated, my brother. Because you and Pat would know. I would buy graphic novels, especially if they're sealed, right? If they came wrapped still. And the only ones that are remotely inexpensively priced was just throwaway stuff. There was nothing of any substance. And the stuff that was wrapped or that I'd want, because I did find a Last Ronin. Someone had a Ninja Turtle Last Ronin, which if you guys at home want to send me one, I'm looking for a hardcover, and it was $27. I'm like, 20, I can do. This is what I told my son. I said, look, this is the stuff I can do this every day, all day, right? It'd be like the Pit. Where's Pit? Right there, right? If I did Pit, you see Pit, $100 or so, you'd be like, I can do that every day, all day. You know what I mean? At a show, you should be looking for like a 75. You should be looking for a cash deal, no shipping, no packing, no questions, no returns. It's just there you go, right? If you can spend $100, I could get that anytime, right? That's what the convention was like. It was like, how much is that? 200. 200. I could do 150 probably on time. Like I don't. It's like the comic book people seem very unaware of the internet and the impact of everything. So how was the hack Comic Con? Okay. But like I said, the best thing for me was I was able to spend time with my son. We had a good time doing that. It was cool to be in the vibe of everything. And there was a fair amount of cosplay. One guy was like Chainsaw Man, the head chainsaw thing. That was pretty cool. I don't know. I didn't see. There's a Halo guy who was really detailed. It was pretty cool. yeah, you get slutty Harleys and stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, all right, whatever. I've seen it all before. Um, yeah, you see, and it's like even stuff that's not expensive, it's like a dime a dozen. I can get it anytime. And I didn't have like a buy list. I didn't go into it as a buyer. I went into it as a let's hang out and see what the market's like. Let's see what's worth. And I expected comics to be the one thing. Here's what I really expected. I really expected old comics. So like Bronze Age and older, like that's how to be very expensive because they're hard to find. Right. Then I expected key books to be very expensive. That's exactly what they are. So they'll say a Secret Wars or the Black Spider-Man costume, first appearance of Venom, first appearance, whatever. And that was kind of the case, what a little bit. But then it's everything else. And I'm like, everything else is like expendable. Why are you not liquidating? I'm used to shows, and there's only one guy that had them, and we didn't circle back to him because I didn't want to carry anything back to the car. It was too far. So he had boxes. It would be like, here's the box for I think $50, $60, 50 or $60. So I joke with Jake. I see it's Sunday. See, you give him 40 in cash, or better, I'll give you 300 for all of it. So you take it home, and he doesn't have to haul back to his car. So that was kind of my situation in that regard. So, oh, okay. Not sure what happened there. So, but yeah, no, I had a great time. It's good. Dean, it's always good to see you, brother. And by the way, folks, put on your calendar. I'm doing a session. We're going to record it with Dean. Dean, I haven't heard back from Mags. Mags will be joining us for a great conversation. We're going to talk about an OG movie. I'm not sure if all of you guys are real familiar with this movie. It's called Sullivan's Travels. It's an OG film. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, we're going to record it. We're going to start, Dean, at the time you and I discussed. Mags can just come in when she comes in. I'll double check my messages. I've had crazy stuff going on the last week or that kind of thing. So I personally didn't pull the trigger. And I will tell you this, Pat, the main reason, the one guy had a lot of stuff, but he had a lot of low grade stuff. And I'm like, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm going to be very strategic. Actually, one lady had some Eries and Creepies, which were really interesting, but they were not graded. And I was like, do I want to deal with that when they're not graded? Do I really want to? I'm like, because I don't want to read them again. I'm not going to read them. I'll read them online. I'll read a digital version. I'm not going to get one to read it. I'm going to get one to invest in because they are harder to find. She only had like 4 or 5. She didn't have very many. The people that have some really good silver and gold age stuff, it either was expensive for what it was, or it wasn't like I saw like first appearance of Penguin at like a 6. It wasn't something like that. It was like just random stuff or extremely low grade stuff, or raw. And I'm just like, yeah, I can get that online. I'm like, it didn't. So that was me. So, I would have thought a con down your way would be more elaborate. Well, Dean, it is in Orlando. The Orlando MegaCon one is massive. It's mini San Diego. It's on the East Coast, right? It's just a different version of that one. It is massive, right? The Tampa one, it was fine. And like I said, there were several celebrities there. I'm on the cheap. I didn't want to spend. Okay. So you guys can judge me. My son didn't really know what to say. I had a friend that was there that I met, and he was kind of judging me, and he kind of joked because there's no line to waitings for Bob Eubanks, the game show host. He was there. So of all the people to meet, Bob Eubanks was probably the one. Like that was the one dude. I'd be like, that'd be kind of cool to meet Bob Eubanks. You know what I mean? But I'm also like, I don't know. How much do I want to spend for Bob Eubanks, newlywed game autograph or something? I don't know. It's more like the fun of it was fine. But they had like some folks from MASH and things like that. Richard Karn from Home Improvement, things like that. I felt bad for Pauly Shore. I walked by Pauly Shore. Well, we walked by Pauly Shore. We walked right by. We're off a little bit, but there's lines and stuff, and there's Pauly Shore. There is no one. The starting price for stuff was like $50, and I'm like, I don't want to be the person to tell you, Pauly, that you might have to do some price adjustments. No offense, but been a long time since Son-in-Law and Encino Man. I don't think the crowd is what you think it is. That's all. So, but yeah, Dean, it is. It it has sort of my identity crisis in it. In definitely in the sense of not a lot of comic books, and not and definitely not scale like Orlando is. Orlando is massive. The MegaCon one is way bigger deal. But again, that makes it harder on us old guys. I have a hard time, man. That place is massive. You're on concrete, walking, and all that. It's a lot to take in. And there they have like the massive panels and stuff like that. 500 room panels and things like that. 500 people room panels and stuff like that. So Captain Jack Sparrows. Didn't see a Captain Jack Sparrows. Yeah, silly, sick of the tire of the pirates. Yeah, that definitely ran its course. I only saw one or two Harley Quinns. One was like a really pretty good one. Wasn't as crazy as it used to be. A fair amount of anime stuff. Nothing that, like I said, I saw the Chainsaw Man guy, which was really pretty cool because he had the big giant chainsaw on his head. That was actually probably the coolest cosplay that I saw. Things like that. It's fine. So. I want to find that guy that had a box of old Mad Magazine for $5 issue again. Yeah, that's good luck with that. There was a Mad Magazine guy there. I don't think I saw any Mad Magazines for sale. So, but yeah, Mads are definitely a harder find and definitely in good condition. Who took care of their Mads? Very few people did. So, yeah, Bob Eubanks. I know, kind of crazy, isn't it? Newlywed Show. Let's see. Always reluctant to meet celebs. You never know what you're going to be fun, boring, or nasty. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I get it. And it's a challenging setting for them. I get that, right? Because I've had some bad run-ins, and part of that is if you've had someone like Pauly Shore who's been sitting there, not getting any attention, not making any money, feels like he's wasting his time, and you meet him. Is he going to be a little short with you? Is he going to be a little tired? Whatever. Fair enough, because I've seen that. So I've had a couple issues with I met somebody and I didn't feel like it was, it wasn't very good. I've only had, I mean, I haven't had a lot of terrible experiences, but I have had some. So it was Pauly Shore. Yeah, I know. It's kind of, my son didn't know. My son was like, I asked, did you see Encino Man? He's like, I don't know. He's like, it's one of like 1,000 movies that he's probably seen, and he just is indifferent on ever watching again. So, oh, you went to go see Shatner. I've seen Bill at a panel. I didn't meet Bill personally, stuff like that. He's so cool. What I saw anyway. So cool. But yeah, meeting celebs is tricky. I got to be honest. Most of the time, I haven't had a problem. I've met TNG cast. I've met a ton of these people and only had maybe a handful of sort of, I want to say, negative experiences, or things I have like a poor opinion of now. And then in hindsight, like there's a couple I'm like, oh, I kind of get it. Should I name drop? Is it right to do that? Or should I not do that? Pat will tell me. Pat, should I reveal who some of the bad experiences were, or is that we shouldn't do that? You tell me, Pat. Let's see. Stargate, Tori Higginson, Dr. Weir at Stargate Atlantis. She was the best. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Needs a job, money, free, cheap. Yeah. That's all. I see that. Movie star. I mean, old movie star. And they had Jamie Farr from MASH. I mean, Richard Karn from Home Improvement. I mean, just you have people that are just different off, so. And I met most of the rest. Okay, very cool. Snap. Yep. Met some celebrities in the service at Pendleton. Oh, that's interesting. They wanted to be there. Oh, that's cool. Because then it definitely is a positive experience. That's cool. Yeah. John Candy, Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah, that'd been great. Yeah. Candy especially, right? Yeah. AC's like, oh yeah. They're all putting 2 and 2 together now, honestly. Yeah. So I don't know. Coolest stuff is kind of what you would expect from me because I'm a comic book guy first. Orlando convention. Stan Lee and his handler back then, there was none of this MCU crowd. There was none of this. They were just moving in from one spot to another. He just walks right by, like, Stan the man. He's like, Excelsior, good to see you. Thanks for coming out and hanging out. You guys are what this is all about. You guys are why we do this. And I'm like, oh man, he is just the GOAT, right? It's like, I didn't go for the scribble. I didn't go for the quick picture or anything like that. It's just saying, hey, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Robert Stack. Holy cow. Yeah, that is OG, man. Dean. Yeah, I'm with you there. So, yeah. So yeah, Stan was probably the biggest thing ever for me. I don't even know how to compare that. And it wasn't even like the typical meet and greet type scene, right? Decepticons here. Hey, brother. What's going on? But yeah, no. So I have my daughter has helped me too because she can go and stand in line for me for some of this stuff, so I don't have to stand there the whole time. So she's helped. So I have an autograph. I got like cheaper mini posters for Back to the Future and Lord of the Rings. So I have two of the Hobbits. I have Sean Astin and Elijah Wood. And for Back to the Future, I have Christopher Lloyd. And I have, oh my gosh, what's Biff's first name? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Biff. Tom? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, Tom. I didn't brain cramp on Tom. He was so cool to meet, by the way, because he was like asking you questions like, what do you think was my favorite part of doing this? He's like, riding horses. Yeah. It's like, I'm like, what? We had come up with the idea of asking Elijah Wood about Tron because he did the voice in Tron Uprising, and he did not expect anyone there to ask him about that. You could see it's like the what? I was like, great. Oh, home run. We did our part. So yeah, I've had my experiences meeting, doing some of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But I've always been that way. I've always been like, they're not that special to me, you know? And I don't, it was just, and I'm also more of like, I enjoy your stuff. Thanks for doing this, whatever. This meant a lot, that kind of thing, rather than like, oh, I want your autograph. I never wanted to feel like the eBay person. Like, so I have all these scribbles in a book somewhere because I was on set at Edward Scissorhands. So I met Johnny Depp and everybody, right? And it's like, if someone asked me, like, what are you gonna do with it? I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I guess one of my kids will get it. I'm gonna sell it. It's something I did. It's like little slivers of paper with scribbles on them. How would anybody know if they were forged or not? They're not, if you didn't know me or my story, why would you believe that they're legit? You know what I mean? Johnny was super nice. I don't even know why, other than I wasn't some crazy person trying to chase after him. I was just standing there waiting for him and asked if he would, scribble something down. I just said, thanks. This is looks like a cool project. I loved your work. I've been following you since the nightmare. So let's do this. Right. And yeah. So yeah, for me. So let's see. I think I'd be hard to please at a comic convention because I'd be looking for stuff like Space 1999 comics, The Man from Atlantis, Logan's Run, Bionic Man, those kind of comics. Yeah. Hey, Gap. Oh man, you need to message me. I'm not sure what I have. I think I have a Logan's Run. In case you don't have that one, I'll let you know. Yeah, we need to message about that one. I'll see if I can find it before I promise too much. I don't know if I still have Logan's Run. I know I have Battlestar Galactica, but I assume you have all that. I have the original Battlestar Galactica. Actually, no, it's not. I had a box right there, but now I moved it to the other room. I'm trying to go through that box to reorganize them a little bit. So, but yeah, no, I get that. But Gap, you know what? This process of looking for something like that actually makes the convention more fun in some ways. As long as it's a moderately sized one, and don't get disappointed if they don't have it. That's all. You can find some of it online, which I know is tricky because comic books, it's hard to tell with condition if you don't physically have it, but not the worst thing in the world. Let's see. You guys are talking back and forth. Have to admit, the coolest sit down with celebrity was John Milius. Oh yeah, that'd be super cool. Yeah. Yes. That's pretty cool. That would be cool. So yeah, I figured you had all the Battlestar. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot I had them, and just like, oh, what are these here for? I didn't even know they were in like They got I get well, they were under Marvel, weren't they? But they were in the Marvel box, but they weren't even in B in the Marvel box. I'm like, that's not where they should I should have had them with the movie stuff. I just found them. I was looking for the Indiana Jones stuff so I could try to get rid of some of the Indiana Jones stuff, and Battlestar was in the Marvel box, and I'm like, what is happening? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Gap says, I have 2 bookcases. I'm on the way to organization. Yes. Need a bigger house, but we'll do the best we can with the space we got. Yes. Yes. So Gap, what I did in my old home, my wife had given me sort of the nerd cave, right? So I had a nerd cave. So I had these bookshelves, floor to ceiling bookshelves, and I would rotate stuff out. So usually about every 3 months. So I would just like this row of comics right up here. Imagine every 3 months or so, I just take them all down and put up different ones. And I'd have themes during like Halloween, have themes during Christmas, certain things that would go up, kind of rotated through. So it kind of maximized the space, at least somewhat, entertained me. I was able to enjoy my stuff instead of it being just in a box somewhere. And I think that's another reason why I feel like downsizing so much of it is okay, because I have spent a lot of time with some of the stuff. It's not like I'm going to pull something out of a box and never seen it again, right? And I've shown off some of the stuff on the show so much now it's almost documented that I had it or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine now. If he needs to go find a new home, that's cool. Uh, Stargate Universe or cards? Yes, very expensive. Okay, interesting. Okay, Stargate cards. Stargate cards. I bet. Yeah. Um, I was. This was really crazy to me. There was a lot of people that had cards, but only like Pokemon and Magic cards. I don't think I saw any like Marvel cards, movie cards. There was nobody, no vendors. So thought that was strange. And I don't mean like a little bit strange, like a lot strange. Like that was weird. And I'm like, wow, I guess I should have set up a booth because I got it done all right. I got wax packs, I got singles, I got cheap ones, I got some expensive ones. What do you want? But no, Gap, I don't have Stargate stuff. I would hook you up if I did. Sorry about that. Let's see, basement rooms at hotels. Yeah, yeah. I think by the time I was really into cons, they'd moved at least out of the basement into like convention rooms. They weren't really like into weird. People told me about that though, because I was more like starting in like the late '80s and early '90s. So that's the stuff that was predating me. Was definitely more like the back dusty rooms, that kind of thing. So. Oh, the V line. Yeah, that's good stuff. Finally got it out of the box. Excellent condition considering its age. Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, it is fun to search. Captain America 100. Yeah, that's a good book. A special book. Yeah. Yeah, I love trading cards too. Yeah, so good. So much fun. And I'm just shocked. It seems like the easy thing. Like I would have so many things just for $1. Just keep it moving. I know people were like, it's only worth a quarter. I said, fine, give me a quarter. But I just everything in this box is like $1. I got sleeves in it, whatever. Then you price stuff from there. It's like, listen, if you want, I'll give you a quarter. Well, this is an X-Men. You're not getting X-Men for $1, less than $1. Are you kidding me? X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman it's still the cream of the stuff. So, but it was fun to see that. I was disappointed there was no cards. It didn't take it. It was probably like 3/4 into the trip before I realized nobody had cards other than like Pokemon and Magic and gaming type stuff. And only like loose cards were only Pokemon. I don't think I saw it even loose Magic cards. I think it's only Pokemon. So that was kind of different. I didn't expect that. But it was fun to, get back into the feel of what's out there and things like that. So, oh, hey, brother. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm not usually able to stream or I'm not in town, but because of the convention, I came into town. I'm staying in town, so I'll be available tonight and tomorrow night as well. But I'm 90% sure. Let me double check my messages. Let's see. Zach's is good to go. So I'll be recording what's your story? What else we talk about? I don't know. Want to talk comics? What else we gotta talk to Zach's about? I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I want to do what's your story for sure, Zach's. So but yes. So yeah, Zach's will be confirmed for tomorrow. So let me message Pat. So Pat knows because he's handling me on scheduling. Confirmed for tomorrow, 5:30 start. Yes. Maybe I should go on and do something with Zach's as well. So, but yeah, Zach will be doing his own. So yeah, I'll have a little bit of time tonight. A little bit. That's why I did this, and I'm gonna get back to recording when we're done because I won't go too much longer. But I wanted to kind of document my experience in doing this because I definitely would say this: I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again. Actually, we talked about one AC in particular. Um, uh, there's a Lego convention in like a month or month and a half. So it would involve some travel as well. But he talked about bringing the littles because it would be cool to let them see, like, these massive full size Lego displays and stuff like that they do. And I'm like, well, maybe I can get Mrs. Pops to come just because of that. So that is in the works, at least being talked about. So that may be the next thing that we do like this. I don't know. Here's the thing. I'll go to the big one, like the MegaCon, like Dean, we were talking about a little bit earlier, the one in Orlando that's really big. I would go if I'm going to be able to meet some content creators and stuff like that too. Like when I did the meetup with James, Ginger Ninja was there, Culture. If folks like that are going to be around in a MegaCon situation, I would go. But if it's just going to be like this, where it's just me being turned loose at my own thing, I'm more like a seller than I am a buyer. I'm not sure that's going to be worth my time and money. So that's where I'm at. So wish you go to a Lego convention. Yeah, well, I was shocked that it was coming like to town. Like I'm like, I thought those would be like a big Orlando thing, not something small in a smaller town, but it was. So Dean, talk to you soon. Definitely see me Tuesday. I guess that's Talk Hard. We are recording our show on Wednesday, I believe. So definitely going to be seeing a great review time with Dean later this week. So double check. I'm pretty sure it's August the 2nd, Dean. So great. Thanks for having me, man. Hopefully you can make it for Talk Hard too. That'd be awesome. We never did get to Crawls. This week will be Crawl because I was sick last week. So yeah, it's really fascinating to see how different a convention feels than even 10 years ago where it was like so comic book heavy. I mean, it was so much more like comic book cards, Pokemon gaming type stuff, right? And then there would be like comic book artists, and then there'd be like two celebrities or three celebrities, right? And then the independent comic artists and the other vendors are somewhere else. That was kind of the lay of the land. And now it's like comic books are itty bitty. And as I said, and I do not mean this to be as cynical as it sounds, but it's kind of dime a dozen stuff. I don't want to call it junk, but it's like dime a dozen stuff. You can get this stuff any day and easily, right? It wasn't anything special. And it definitely wasn't a massive vendor. There was nobody there who had like 100 long boxes or anything like that. Nothing like that. Which is what I would want to do. If I were going to do shows, I would be like, we got to scale this up. We got to be the person everybody's going to talk about. You know what I mean? We got to be the person that's going to have like all this, they're going to be able to, they're going to get their list and they're going to get stuff off their list. And then they can go and tell their friends they got it from Pops. That would be my reason to do this at a show on scale like that. Which I really couldn't do now because I've scaled back so much. But you go there and it's like comics is small. There's a little bit of Legos. There's a little bit of like Pokemon cards and stuff. There's a lot of like indie and random yard sale, independent creator type stuff. And then there's action figure toy stuff, but it's all very hodgepodge. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. There's not like the Star Wars guy or the Marvel guy or something. You know what I mean? So, and maybe it's because I'm not buying. Maybe it's like I'm not in the market of like let me spend $500 for the weekend or something. Like maybe that's part of the problem. But it just didn't feel, and it definitely didn't seem like it felt connected to what's going on right now. You didn't see anybody pushing, I won't say modern toys, but toys that are relevant to right now. I did some people dressed up as bad cosplays, like the Mario Brother thing, and they were girls, and it was bad. It was cringy bad. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so awful. It's like, okay. And there are so many people that have no self-awareness about they shouldn't be cosplaying like this. This is, obviously the cosplay joke has been for women to do this. So it's their excuse to dress like sluts. That's not Halloween. Well, they got fat friends. No one wants to make her feel bad, but somebody should say something because they're not actually helping their situation. They're making it worse. I'm just saying, as a dad and as a granddad, don't do that. Um, what else can I tell you? There was actually food on the floor. That was kind of weird. So there's like a this is not convention. This is not like the like cafeteria, like convention food. I'm talking about vendors selling food. This was extremely faux pas back in the day. Food and your collectibles were not supposed to mix. Person, they had like, and it was like nerd treats. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's food. Like, I don't want anybody like chomping on like a chocolate Spider-Man and then start fishing through my comic books or manhandling my toys. Like, no, food and collectibles don't go together. But there were actually like, food people there. That was weird. I did not like that. And Jacob and my son saw this on my face, and he was like, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a thing. We don't do that. And you can have it, just put it in the lobby outside, no food in here. That's how it should go. Very few, very, very, you can have drinks because you gotta have water. People have to stay hydrated, but they need to have lids. You know what I mean? There's an open containers, and then there's, everybody needs to be responsible for that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Any of you been to a convention or anything else you guys want to bring up or something like that? Look at this Mil Spec Zero guy. I've been talking about him. So you guys know I didn't know his username, so oh, sorry, it's that way. This fellow over here, that's my son. I see you, Mil Spec Zero. It's a good day today, my friend. It's a good day, brother. I love you so much, son. I had a good time. So I talk about some different things. I don't know if I missed anything. Is there any other memory or some sort of thought that you have that we should mention real quick before we go? So underage cosplayers revealing costumes are my bane. I don't want to be mistaken for some chronologically challenged creep who goes to cons to chat up young girls. Yeah, I do not. First off, the whole concept of cosplaying and revealing the stuff is this weird fetish fantasy stuff. I just don't think that's good. I think kid gets carried away for sure. So yeah, this was our joke. A lot of Funko. Yeah, a lot of Funko. It was crazy how much Funko is out there. Like it is like headed for the heap, man. I don't know what to tell you. And so he told me so that somebody on I guess Facebook, right, had like what $300 for like I mean it was like it was like so many Funkos. Like I could have just look. It's like you wouldn't have been able to do anything with them. I'm telling you, nobody wants this stuff. It's crap. And it's like, if you're into like one thing, two things, whatever, that's fine. Everybody gets it. Like everybody's like, so like Gap is into Stargate, right? So if he has like Stargate Funkos, no one's going to judge Stargate Funkos because it's Stargate. It's his thing, right? But if you're just still like randomly thinking this stuff's going to be worth money or whatever, it was rough. It was rough. So yes, Landfill Dream. It's coming. Like move over Atari ET. Funkos are coming. Funkos are coming. So to summarize, Tampa Comic Con was great because I was with my son. I did not have a positive vibe from compared to the way it used to be. Like there was very little comic book stuff. A lot of it was just dime a dozen stuff. Very little Lego. Very little. There are no cards, only Pokemon, and a little bit of Magic and gaming stuff. Toys and all that stuff, like it was all in very much disarray. Like it was sometimes hard to even get your head around like what is going on. People just have stuff everywhere. A lot of like indie art trinket type stuff. I call it the yard sale fodder. I don't mean it as derogatory as I mean, but that is how it felt. I thought it was weird to have some of the comic book creators like kind of like stuck in the middle of the aisles. Like I thought it was weird. They usually have their own area. It's kind of hard to find. I knew of one or two creators in particular were going to be there, and I didn't know where they would be because we're going on these aisles. I'm like, well, where are they? That was kind of frustrating. Yeah. So that's the general vibe of it all, I guess. So Snort says, I dress up. I do characters from current movies, comics. I do my own character. Fun part is people try to guess who I'm supposed to be when I tell them their eyes glaze over. I'm Snortopoopus. You shouldn't even have to explain yourself. You're just Snortopoopus cute. Like you just dress as the polar. You be yourself. and you're fine. It's all good. Retro video game vendors. Um, it depends on what you mean by retro. So there were some gaming systems and some games. Jake would know more than I would. But I won't, because when you say retro, I think like Atari and Nintendo and like really OG stuff is what retro means. You may mean more like Xbox, like the first Xbox. I don't know. So there was some like those type of consoles and games, but not like Atari or, you know, what was the OG for me. I did not see that part, but he was going through some of those games and stuff. So maybe he would know if he's still with us. Sounds like I should be glad I didn't go. Well, I feel bad, Castle, because I would have liked to shake some hands, man. Maybe we could have bought one of those coffees I didn't like so we could go in the lobby and drink it, not drink in the con where people shouldn't have been. So, yeah, we need to do one sometime or get together and have a lunch or something. That'd be good. Jacob Ironside's here. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing well. Jacob Ironside, from what I understand, you are responsible for having me as the scroll on Roman of the Empire's thumbnail. Am I mistaken? Inquiry minds want to know. Yeah, most stuff was priced over eBay on Retro Front. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Jake was having a hard time with these people are like $30 over eBay comps. You know, this person's like, this box is jacked up. Like, what are they doing? They can't charge full price for this jacked up looking box and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's my boy right there. It'd be me looking at like, you know, yes, this is a first print Frank Miller, but it's got a big freaking crease in the spine. You can't charge full price for that. So I was like, yeah. So the rubber human suit, yeah, they never guess. I know it's weird. Maybe we could just get like a name tag that says, you know, Snort Q something. Yeah, it's some sort of little thing to let everybody know who he really is. Maybe you just go incognito. It's okay, Snort. We're good. So went back to school shopping. That's okay. Cool, man. You gotta take care of the tasks. So yeah, coming up on the hour. Let me see if I can think of anything else. I think the thing was we just enjoyed, and again, maybe this is the thing for you guys. I know it can be expensive, so find a ticket level or something that meets for your budget to just go with a friend or a family member. In the case, it was my son, where we just enjoyed hanging out. You know, we spent a couple hours, just we're in the air conditioning, talking nerdy stuff, looking at nerdy stuff, talking about other nerds. I mean, that just people watching is it's a lot of fun, to be honest. Yeah. So, oh yeah, Jacob Ironside. By the way, for those of you that don't know, especially you, Jake, if you're still out there, there's a thumbnail for Roman of the Empire's more recent show. I was supposed to attend, but I got something came up, as you know, and I wasn't able to attend. And yeah, he made me a scroll. I'm like, Jacob, I would love to if you could just message me on Twitter, just that image, so I can use it as like something else maybe in the future. It'd be fun to use. It's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's just a costume. I'm really a polar bear. That'd be great. See, there you go. I think it's what you do. You just roll with that. I think it's fine. If people don't get it, man, they're not worth our time. So, yeah. Anything else I can tell you guys about it? I would. I will tell you that didn't go around meeting a bunch of people. Could have or should have. Maybe I don't know. It seems like the modern entertainment though, meeting celebrities. It's more like unless you're there to spend money, they don't have time for you. And I even ran into that with press, like when I had like a press pass. I was there to talk to people, and they still were like, "Aren't you going to buy something?" I'm not going to tell you who said that to me, and I was like, "I know I'm press. Like what?" This guy was so put off, and I was like, "Well, ooh." So I try not to talk about that situation because yeah. Thanks, Jacob. That's awesome, man. Appreciate that. Scroll pops. It's freaking crazy. So yeah, because this show has turned into a dumpster fire when it comes to ratings and stuff because it doesn't matter. It's such a stupid show. Oh, anyway. Anyway, that's kind of it, guys. I'm just going to kind of do a generalization, put a pin in the experience because it was something I want to look back on. And as was said, a lot of Funkos. I don't know. Can you imagine having to take some of these displays? We were joking about that with the comic book guy who had like the $40-$50 on the price. I'm like, see, he has to carry all that crap back to his car. That's a lot of freaking Funkos. Well, I'm not a famous YouTuber. No, I did not know. You know who was there allegedly? I don't know if he was there today or if he was there yesterday, but I heard Jay was there. Drunk 3PO was there. Now Jay can't blend in. I've seen Jay. He's 6'4", 6'5", so he can't blend in. I didn't see Jay. I thought I saw somebody who was a YouTuber kind of in my general area, but that turned out to not be them. And I saw another person who I thought. Now I will say I had this one person who looked at me and stared me down like they knew me, but they didn't want to talk to me. I don't know what that was about or if I was reading too much into it, but I was able to see some friends that I did know, and yeah, just had a good time doing it. So, but anyway, so but thanks for all you guys coming and hanging out a little bit about it. It was fun to do a convention again. I'm worried about the price points. This whole, now we're at, $25, $30. It starts to get ridiculous, especially when you figure now you're taking $50, $60 out of the price for people to spend money there. And maybe that's because the demands of the celebrities, but I'm like, yeah, but if you're spending $30 to get in, and now I don't have $30 to have you sign something or get a picture with you. And so it's kind of a vicious cycle that we may be in a little bit. I don't know. I'm kind of with Dean. I'd almost like rather go back to some of those very, very small things. So yeah, Gap. Yeah. The parking. That's another. We actually went on the cheap on parking and we just got lucky. I mean, we drove around like 3 or 4 times. This is one of the first things I talk about this trip. If you rewind it, you'll get me venting about the parking situation. It turned out to be $12, but that was actually for like way longer than we were there. I think it was 5 or 6 hours. We weren't there that long. So it wasn't really that bad. But that was one of those like side of the road type kiosk ones. So yeah, we had a hard time finding a place to park. But yeah. But again, I think that's another reason why too. If you want to do something like this, do it as more of like a social experience. So just go and hang out with a friend or a family member or something like that, or go to meet somebody, maybe carpool to share on some of those kinds of things and that kind of thing. So anyway. But all of you, thank you all for being here. Thanks to so many of you that are members, have been members. We appreciate that. Appreciate everything all of you guys have done to support me. And onwards and upwards. Another con, do videos. Tomorrow's videos will be more like TV shows. Tomorrow will be Justified. And my take on beef. Oh boy. The irony is I'd recorded this video, had technical issues, got it fixed. In the meantime, if you go to my comments on beef episode 1 and 2, man, somebody took offense to my take. Well, I just kept saying, why don't you wait till you get my whole take? And now you can have issue with me because I don't think I hate on this show as much as you think I do, but you're taking issue with me. Anyway, that whole video drops tomorrow. So tomorrow will be TV stuff. So yes. Yeah. That's tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you so much, Castle. Thank you so much. I think I circled the convention center for about an hour before I found a place to park. Oh, yeah. It's rough. So yes, tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm trying to get my final shark videos done. So we wrap up our Shark Week, Shark Month, Shark Fest, Talk Shark. There you go. Shark stuff will be done on Tuesday, Throwback Day. And then we have Comic Book Wednesday. This week's Comic Book Wednesday is Eric O'Sullivan. So we'll have him. I don't have reviews recorded. I have literally like a dozen comic book things I need to review and record some sort of conversation on. And the time and personal stuff's gotten in the way, so I'm behind on that. But Talk Hard on Tuesday night, 5:30 Eastern time. We'll be talking about Kroll. Talk about guilty pleasure for this old man. I know it's not a good movie, and I love watching it. It's so much fun for me. And I don't know if it's anything more than just being the 12-year-old kid again. Pretty much what I think. So but with that, folks, thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me. Have some fun out there. Make the world a little bit better. And remember to chill. What better way to learn to chill than with Bob? Take care, everybody.
I'm Ross. All I do is chill. My life is a thrill. For real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't want to cause a